Hey! What's up, guys? Let me stop this shit. Rocky beginnings. So, we are live. It says we're live. We are live. Let me show my dad how to vape. Thank you for everyone who came by to see this short broadcast this evening. We're going to be covering a few issues of importance. I'm going to go ahead and list off the main points we're going to make tonight. Number one, we're going to be talking about the similarities between Scientologists and Trump supporters. That's going to be very interesting to discuss. We're also going to be touching on Von Helton and his inability to understand why it is his responsibility to take care of his children. And then later on, we're going to maybe have a little light conversation about the Oscars and diversity. And we're going to talk about the truth. This is called the hard truth. So I'm hoping to expose some people who are closing themselves off to fake news to the hard truth. So let's start and begin with the similarities between Scientologists and Trump supporters. I don't know if any of you have been watching the TV series about Scientology with the chick from King of Queens talking about her experiences, but I think it's very interesting, and I also watched the documentary called Going Clear, which is a documentary all about Scientology and exposing the evils that lay within. Let's talk about the similarities between Scientology and Trump supporters. You have a president of the United States who has decided to wage war against the media. It's nothing new. Many presidents have had their quibbles with the media and have expressed their dissatisfaction with certain stories and points being made by reporters. I just want to remind the American people that in America, it is the media's job to confront authority and to question everything. That's number one. And if the media isn't upsetting politicians, it's not doing its job. Let's all remember that. The media has to upset politicians. Because if they're not upsetting politicians, then politicians can more easily lie and be dishonest. Let's all be honest. I think we can all agree that politicians are much more dishonest than the media. Do we have corporate media in this country? Yes. Are they motivated by profit motives? Yes. Do they have a tendency to sway the truth from time to time? Absolutely. And that is more true for certain organizations than others. But for people who accept the line from the President of the United States that anything that is detrimental or critical of his policy, ideology, and stances, or just in general critical of him, is anyone who accepts his line that anything like that is just fake news, is selling themselves short. And this doesn't have anything to do with your political ideology or what you believe in, whether or not you support Donald Trump or you don't support Donald Trump, or who you voted for. It doesn't really matter. At the end of the day, as an individual, you're just being more ignorant and less informed by buying that load of garbage. Here's the bottom line. Don't sell yourself short. Consume as much information as you possibly can, and as an intelligent individual, learn to objectively analyze that information and decide for yourself what is true and what is false. Plain and simple. I challenge everyone watching this broadcast right now to spend at least 1 hour watching or reading a bit of news from a source that you don't trust. Just humor me. If you hate Fox News, watch Fox News for an hour. Just do it. If you hate the Huffington Post, Read some Huffington Post articles for an hour. It will be healthy for you. It will do you good. Because you're smart enough to be able to absorb information and decide for yourself whether it's true, false, unpleasant, pleasant, or whatever. That's what America's all about. I think Trump supporters should be the first ones defending the media, because after all, the media are the ones that elected Donald Trump, not you. Your vote didn't elect Donald Trump. The media elected Donald Trump. They covered him 5 times more than Hillary Clinton. They covered him 25 times more than any other Republican candidate in the primaries. They elected this man. They gave him his platform. They put him on the air 24 hours a day. They covered every single rally, every single speech, every single sentence that this man uttered. And now he has a problem with them. Now that he's president of the United States, he doesn't want to do the White House press correspondence dinner. The first president to not attend that dinner by his own will. Ronald Reagan missed it because he was shot. This will be the first president to skip the dinner since Richard Nixon, who we all know went completely stark raving mad in office. Let's hope that after only a month in office, Donald Trump isn't quite there, although some believe he may have already reached that point before being elected. So, what are the similarities between Donald Trump supporters and Scientologists? Well, if you're not already aware of this, Scientologists who follow this cult-like belief are forced and encouraged, basically they're forced to not consume media. They don't go on the internet. They hardly watch TV or movies, because the Church of Scientology believes that the vast majority of media is suppressive. And they use the word suppressive to describe anything that is critical of the Church of Scientology and or expresses an opinion that can conflict with those ideas. So when they say keep away from suppressive information and disconnect yourself from suppressive individuals, what they're saying is, please don't listen to anything other than what we're telling you, and please remain brainwashed. And what I've seen and observed on social media and in real life in the past 30 days is astounding and disturbing, quite frankly, because what you have is a bunch of individuals who don't really represent any political ideology anymore. They're brainless, sheep-like people who have stopped consuming information because their great leader has told them that it's fake. They've been convinced by a small madman that they are so stupid that they should keep away from anything that could harm their delicate, fabricated existence. Please don't listen to anything that's too provocative, because that's fake news. CNN is fake news. I'm sorry, CNN is not fake news. Breitbart is fake news. CNN's not fake news. CNN is corporate news, and quite frankly, not really my thing. But they're not fake news. I mean, you can watch CNN, and if you're an intelligent person, you know whether or not you're being bullshitted at any given moment. When they do a story that's favorable to the pharmaceutical industry, right after the commercial from Pfizer airs, or Lipitor, if you're smart enough, you know what's going on. But look, he's not talking about that kind of stuff. Donald Trump isn't talking about the sellout journalism that we see on cable and corporate news. What he's talking about is information that is critical of him. People who don't like him. People who make him mad or sad. The kind of thing that riles him up during his 5 a.m. bowel movement on his golden-plated toilet bowl and makes him tweet without control. That's the stuff he's talking about. So, I mean, I can understand. Nobody likes being criticized. But, dude, you're the fucking president of the United States. You need to act like an adult. Grow up. We all know you have baby hands, but don't be a baby. You're going to be criticized. People aren't going to like you. That's part of the job. Only less than half of this country, like way less than half of this country, voted for you. You think the rest of us are going to be thrilled about you being president? You think the media is going to let you off the hook? You think they're just going to stop investigating the fact that in an unprecedented move, you had to fire your national security advisor, which has never happened, by the way, in the history of the United States in such a short amount of time? The media is not going to let you off. They're going to hold you to account, and you can scream fake news at the top of your lungs all you want, but at the end of the day, it's just going to backfire on you because you're making too many enemies. It's the same thing you did with the NSA and the CIA. These are people you don't want to fuck with because they have the power to fuck you. You understand? Before Donald Trump went into office, he decided to wage war on the intelligence community. He did one of his first public appearances as president of the United States in front of the wall of heroes, the unnamed heroes of our intelligence community who can't be named and never get any credit or fame for what they do and for the lives that they've given for their country in secret. And he stood in front of that wall and he didn't mention them one time. What did he talk about the whole time? He bitched and moaned about how the fake news media was lying about the size of his inauguration crowd, while 3 million people were literally the next day on the streets marching against him. This is a man who is delusional. And if people, you know what, I'm not telling you, you can support Donald Trump. I don't give a shit who you support. But listen to information. That's all I'm saying. Listen to information. Watch the news. Read the news. Don't disconnect yourself from suppressive subjects and suppressive information because you just don't like what you're hearing. Because when you do that, you're just as bitchy and wimpy as Donald Trump. Because the man just can't take it. All right, let's move on to Von Helton. Hold on, let me take a vape. You know, they say this is supposed to be better. Supposed to be better for you than cigarettes. Let's hope they're right. But then again, that could be the fake news talking. All right, so what were we? Oh yeah, Von Helton. So if everyone's been following the Von Helton Lols train lately, you know that he's had some issues dealing with, in his old age, taking care of his children. He thinks that his 150-year-old mother should take care of his children and feed them and watch them and babysit them and pay his bills and pay his rent and let him live free. And, you know, I barely know anyone who agrees with him. In fact, he's lost some longtime allies of his over this. Here's the bottom line, Von Helton. You're responsible for your children. You're more than a grown man. You're an old grown man. And for you to sit there and bitch and moan about having to make instant oatmeal for your fucking kids and having to peel yourself away from your stupid internet show that you do that gets no views, and you've had the same subscriber count for 3 fucking years, and you think that's more important than feeding your kids? This is not a career for you, my friend. You're not making any AdSense income off of it. You're not making a living off of it. You never will. It's not like you're going to wake up tomorrow and you're going to have 5 million subscribers. This is not a career. It's not your job. So when you make your little Facebook and YouTube comments saying that, oh, next time the trolls tell you that I should get a job, just remember that this is my job and they flagged me down and they're responsible for me being broke and I can't feed my kid. No, wrong. You're responsible for you being broke. You're the lazy motherfucker that sits on your ass 24 hours a day and doesn't work. You can work. You can get a job. You can run for president 2020. You know, there's a lot of things you can do, Von Helton. YouTube isn't going to pay your bills. It's not going to solve your problems. You're going to end up homeless, and your kids are going to be taken from you because of it. That's what's going to happen. If anyone out there is listening that is paying this man's bills, the 4 people on Patreon that are giving him $25 a month, what is wrong with you? Seriously, what is wrong with you? You really want to pay this man's internet bill while his kids barely get fed? You've seen his little cooking videos where he microwaves some TV dinners? Stop paying this man money. He doesn't deserve $25. He doesn't deserve a cent from anyone. He's a man baby. His mother takes care of him and takes care of his kids. Andrea would make a better parent than Von Helton, and everyone knows it. So that's my little rant on Von Helton. Feed your kids. Your kids are more important than YouTube and Hangouts and, you know, your little exclusive Hangouts where you have 2 or 3 people, because you can't even have anybody in your Hangouts because they all hate on you so badly. Just quit. Just quit. You've been doing this. He's been doing this since like the dawn of the internet. You've reached your peak. I mean, I think you reached your peak like years ago. You know, like you're just like in some kind of desperate, sad struggle to maintain relevancy at this point, Von Helton. Please. It's time to get back to life and live life and be an adult. Go get a job at the fucking Geek Squad or something, man. Go flip burgers. I've never seen, like, I've never, like, witnessed someone who's managed to get through 40 plus years of adulthood without having to work one goddamn day in his entire fucking life. I mean, it really is just a shitty story. Ugh. All right, so let's move on. I said this was going to be a 30-minute broadcast, so we're 17 minutes in. Let's take questions from the chat box. Questions from the chat box. We're killing time here, guys. Give me a question. Yes, I am. Next question. Two more questions. Then we're going to move on to the Oscars. You're going to think of something later, and you're going to say, oh, man, I wish I had asked that. So, come on. Is there anybody even watching this? I don't even know. It says 16, but who knows if that's real. I've never met, other than when I was a child, I've never since then met him in person, no. But I've met him on the internet many times. I don't think I should be in People. I think I should be in news, and there's a good reason for that, because this is about truth, and this broadcast was mainly about, people's ignorant rejection of the media and lowering their consumption of information to a dangerous level. So I think it's more about news than it is about just people. Any more questions? It keeps me up at night. I have nightmares about it. It's a very disturbing thing to think about, especially after I saw the picture of his penis. I was thinking, I had I kind of made a proposal as a joke, but I might still do it. I think I was going to I have to figure out the right place to do it because, there's like rules and stuff and nudity rules on these websites. If I could find maybe I could do it on like ChatterBait, perhaps, but I wanted to do like a side-by-side comparison of my dick and his dick, and because like then that would prove that he's my dad if we have like the same dick, right? I mean, what are the chances? His dick is so weird looking. I mean, I can't evaluate my own dick. You guys would have to do that. But if I put my dick next to his dick and they match, I mean, that's like better than a DNA test. What are the questions? Let's see. You thought this was going to be about The Walking Dead? I'm sorry you were misinformed. I would love to meet Von Helton. I'd love to make a documentary about Von Helton and me. But I fear that if I went to Kentucky, that he would shoot me. So I'm probably not going to do that. Yeah, I know, right? I wouldn't know. I mean, like, because it's hard for anyone to evaluate their own penis. But if my dick does look like his, I'll be sad too, but at least I'll be vindicated. His mom took his gun away. Well, still, he might do other things to me, like fart on me or something. He might scratch me with his long fingernails. We have spoken. We just spoke 2 weeks ago in Tiny Chat. He came into a room on Tiny Chat I was in, and we spoke. He's very coy, you know. He's all coy about the whole thing. In private, he admits everything. So, you know how he is. He maintains a persona that is nothing like the true Von Helton. Believe me, the true Von Helton is much worse than the public Von Helton. Yes, privately, yes, he does admit. Of course, he knows. He knows the truth. Any more questions? We have 9 minutes left. I'd like to talk about diversity in the Oscars. Any more questions? No, I did not. I wrote my cat's name in on the ballot. I live in Utah, so my vote is a throwaway as a liberal. As a progressive, socialist, liberal, left-wing extremist, my vote doesn't count in Utah, so I wrote my cat's name in. Okay, so let's move on to the Oscars, and let's talk. I was watching the Oscars before I did this, and I have it paused right now on my DVR, so I haven't, the last half hour is all the good stuff, but the Oscars is a lot more diverse this year, which I think is good. It's great. I would like it to be more natural instead of forced. It does seem a little forced, like, we're not going to just be the way we should be. We're going to force ourselves to be a certain way that people want us to be, which isn't always a good thing. But I think it's still good. It's still a good thing. It does seem a little forced. All the black actors won the award so far, and I think that's a great thing. Either way, but I think it should have happened on its own instead of having to go through social media blowback last year. The Oscars so white, so I think it's still a good thing. We need more diversity. We need to recognize. They gave Jackie Chan a lifetime achievement thing, and that was cool. So, how many of you actually think Mexicans illegally cross our border on a daily basis? Type 1 if you think that's happening. Type 2 if you don't think it's happening. Specifically Mexicans crossing the Mexican border illegally. Okay, so we have one smart person in chat so far. Here's the truth. Illegal immigration from Mexico has been at a net zero for over a decade by Mexican citizens. Okay, so Mexicans don't immigrate to the United States anymore. In fact, there's more Mexicans leaving and going back to Mexico than there are Mexicans coming here from Mexico illegally. That's the truth. Now, this has to do with what I was talking about as far as fake news goes and people shutting themselves off from information. This isn't like a conspiracy or an opinion. It's literally a fact. Okay, that's just the way it is. We know this for a fact. We document the amount of deportations and self-deportations and border crossings by non-citizens. We know that there's more people going back than there are coming in. And you have to understand, the people coming here illegally now are not Mexicans. They're Central and South Americans. Okay? They're primarily from Guatemala, Colombia, places like that we have a lot of clandestine operations in right now, causing a lot of strife and violence. And it's causing these people to flee, for their lives. Here's what I'll say, man. If you're against illegal immigration and if that's your number one priority, then by all means, do it up. I don't think it should be your number one priority. I think it's stupid. I think it's pretty damn fucking ignorant to be focusing on deporting a 40-year-old woman who came here when she was 14 years old and has lived here for that long, working that entire time. You know, what you don't understand is a lot of these immigrants pay taxes. The illegal immigrants do pay taxes. You think they don't pay taxes? They pay taxes. Illegal immigrants pay taxes, okay? They pay payroll taxes just like we do. A lot of them use fake documents, so they have to pay payroll taxes. They can't just say, "Oh, I'm sorry, I'm a legal immigrant. I don't want to pay taxes." No, that's not the way it works. I'm not, and you can call me a liberal moonbat all you want, but these are facts. This is the hard truth. That's the name of this goddamn broadcast. I'm a fool? Okay, well, explain to me this, man. Explain to me why you actually, you're one of the people who typed 1 into the room. What credible data and information do you have that tells you that Mexican citizens are illegally immigrating into this country on a daily basis? Can you link me to that data? I mean, I'm not going to wait forever for it. I know it'll never come. You do understand that Mexicans, illegal immigrants, period, pay taxes. They pay taxes and they work. They're not gangsters and rapists like Donald Trump says. We got plenty of our own gangsters and rapists that were born here, by the way. Murderers, gangsters, rapists. We have a very unfortunate crime rate in this country, and a lot of them aren't immigrants. Most of them aren't immigrants, to be honest with you. Every single credible study that's looked into crime rates amongst immigrant communities as compared to naturalized communities shows that immigrant communities have a much lower crime rate because these people are afraid. They don't want to be noticed. They don't want you to know who they are, where they are. They want to work. They want to work under the radar, make money, make a living, and get on with their lives. That's just all there is to it. So if you think that should be your number one priority, you're insane. I mean, if you think we should be deporting a 45-year-old woman who came here when she was 14 years old instead of fixing the water crisis in Flint, Michigan, if that's how you organize your priorities, then you got some issues that you got to deal with that have nothing to do with the law, by the way. This has to do with your prejudice. Let's be honest. Because black people are getting poisoned. Black people are getting poisoned water in Michigan, and you think deporting Mexicans is more important than that. That allows you to demonize 2 races because you're forgetting one and you're persecuting another. I have no life experience. Oh, well, my 33 years of time on this planet, I'm sure, has been very much more enriching than your whatever. I mean, listen to what you're saying. Just listen to what you're saying. What do you, if you think immigration is the most important thing going on right now in the world, type 1 into the chat. If you think there's more important things going on than immigration, type 2 into the chat. Okay. Well, there's more smarties than idiots. That's good. There's way more important things going on in the world, man. As long as you've been alive, there's been illegal immigrants all over this country. As long as I've been alive, there's been illegal immigrants all over this country. They do the agricultural jobs that we will never do. I mean, they had a farm in California. They needed labor. They hired 250 Americans, and they hired 300 illegal aliens. 140 of the Americans actually showed up out of the 250. And then out of the 140, 90 of them quit after the first day. You know why? Because we're not built for that. We're not raised for that. We're not brought up like that. To be on our hands and knees, scraping through dirt, picking vegetables. Because everyone in America wants to be a millionaire. That's why we worship wealth. That's why we elected Donald Trump. That's why we let Wall Street get away with murder. That's why we give tax breaks to the rich, and we don't make GE pay taxes. And we claim that we have the highest corporate tax rate in the world at 35%, when no one actually tells you that the effective tax rate is almost half that. Do you know the difference between the implemented tax rate and the effective tax rate? Do you know what that even means with all your worldly experience? What it means is there is a 35% tax rate. But then after the accountants come in and all of the tax deductions and all the tax breaks and all of the giveaways, the corporate welfare that's going on, and after your accountant gets done with General Electric's finances, they pay zero. So the next time someone tells you that we have the highest corporate tax rate in the world, hopefully you'll be more informed. And you'll understand that Donald Trump cutting the corporate tax rate from 35 to 15% is ridiculous. And as a matter of fact, you could make the corporate tax rate any number, and it wouldn't matter. You could bump it up to 80%. And it wouldn't matter. You know why? Because they'd still pay zero. That's why. Because they'd still have the same tax breaks, the same deductions, and the same accounting practices that allow them to rob the American people. They're fucking us in the ass and also face fucking us at the same time, because they're not paying taxes and they don't pay us enough. If you can't see that, then you're fucking either blind or you're retarded. It's one of the two. All right. We've gone 2 minutes over the allotted time. I want to thank all the Trump tards for stopping by and listening to the hard truth and getting down to the matter of honesty and, being exposed. I wanted to expose you to the truth, much like a pervert opens his trench coat to a group of cheerleaders at a park. So I hope you enjoyed it. I don't know if I'll ever do this again. But if I do it, you will be informed of that. And I want to thank Frank for helping me out to promote this and inspiring me to do this. And I'll probably do it again. So I want to thank everyone for coming by. Remember what I said. Please do what I challenged you to do. Consume 1 hour of news from a source that you hate. It's healthy. I promise. It's very healthy for you. Please. Watch CNN for an hour. Watch Anderson Cooper for an hour. If you can get through it without vomiting, you may actually come away healthier. The best thing you can do is expose yourself to opposing opinions and confrontational information. And that's all I got to say. Have a great night, and thanks for coming by.